why we can't see the elephant. Have you ever heard of the parable about the blind man and the elephant? It is a parable that derives from the ancient Indian subcontinent. Various versions have evolved over time, but essentially the story is about a group of blind men who meet an elephant for the first time in their lives. Each man gets to touch only one part of the elephant's body. When asked about the experience, each man describes the elephant in different terms. All the experiences were equally authentic, which makes all the accounts valid. However, on their own, they cannot count as a complete answer to what an elephant is or how it looks or feels like. When it comes to reconstructing the past, we tend to behave like the blind man and the elephant. We are unaware of the overall context and blindly trust our subjective experience of reality, preventing us from obtaining holistic objective truths. Our experiences are valid, our accounts may be truthful, but often we are ignorant of a whole range of different perspectives in the same object under observation. We rarely question our memories, as we rarely question ourselves in perceiving reality. Few individuals ask themselves whether they are in the matrix or not, because it is much easier and self-assuring to accept the reality we perceive to be true. When reconstructing reality, we rely on memories that represent what we believe is a rendition of the past, the rendition of reality, though they are never accurate. Each time we remember, we do not relate to the past moment itself, but remember what we have remembered instead. Thus, memories are never the same, but reimagined in line with present opinions, feelings, and experiences. If memories are just subjective perceptions, then their validity poses a claim, not a fact. And if memories are just biased claims, yet the basis of our reconstructed realities, we are automatically bound to complications, especially concerning discussions about truth and justice. Given inevitable social coexistence, truth and justice pose a vital subject to humanity. For example, this comes to light in the short story In the Grove by Japanese author Ryosuke Akutagawa. Published in 1920, the story takes place in Kyoto and deals with a mysterious murder case in which a samurai is found dead in a bamboo grove. All main suspects deliver contradictory but equally conceivable testimonies, ultimately preventing the commissioned magistrate as well as reader from learning about the true events and identifying the real murderer. All involved witnesses could be either lying or simply remembering the events differently. Even if they are sincere, they cannot guarantee an objectively valid account of events. How does the elephant in the story look like? Akutagawa never tells. The case illustrates how investigations are never purely factual and unbiased. Ironically, our incapability to fully grasp the elephant may be the only part about objective truth we can know for sure. In 1950, the filmmaker Akira Kurosawa used the story as a template for his movie Rashomon, at which point Akutagawa's allusion to the general unreliability of eyewitnesses became known as the Rashomon effect. No credibility can be given if all testimonies are contradictory but claim to be true. For the Rashomon effect to occur, there must be A, no evidence of what really has happened, meaning we don't know what the elephant really looks like, and B, pressure to achieve closure. So we need to offer an image of the elephant nevertheless. The effect demonstrates that under the circumstance of temporal and social pressure, the desire for closure and harmony often overshadows the objective of justice and truth. The general subordination of justice and the multi-locality of truth form the preliminary conditions for memory contestation, because they naturally give room for different but equal interpretations. Contradicting memories concerning the shared narratives of groups make the negotiation for consensus necessary, and if negotiations do not work, then we end up in war, eventually. Since groups come in multiple scales, there are multiple levels of consensuses. For example, local understandings of narratives can vary from national ones or personal recollections. In the power struggle for the validity of memories, authority over what memories count and persuasiveness outweigh personal convictions and make us doubt ourselves. Therefore, caution is crucial in propagated memory discourses, as memories can be exploited, put in favor of, or to the detriment of people. Memories become arguments of vividity that are hard to oppose. They are personal claims about experiences of horror and pain, but also love and happiness. They can be selectively highlighted and emotionally framed to accommodate or shape narratives and agendas, give arguments more emphasis and justification, make them more believable. Especially on the political level, memories become rhetoric tools to use the past for the present. Architectured illusions of elephants are being conjured, and us not being able to see the elephant makes the conjuring all the more convincing. Problems arise when we claim to see the elephant and convince others of it. But on the other hand, sometimes life demands our trust and belief in our own memories to prove a point and defend ourselves. We must remember that memories are just claims of truth, not proved facts, with their fallibility already starting on a neurological level. They are inconsistent and fragmented, vulnerable to bias, deception, and manipulation, making them a precarious source of reality. Yet this does not rid them of the possibility of being true. They cannot be ignored nor replaced, because how else could our human brains access the past? Why do we fight wars, even when they are undefeatable? Why are certain spaces meaningful to us? Why do we suffer and sacrifice ourselves? Why do we feel sympathy, loyalty, and love? It is not the elephant itself, but the image we have of it that makes us perceive the world the way we do, and then in consequence, act upon it. Memory scholars cannot provide the complete answer, but they can deconstruct the argumentative role of memories in accounts of reality, thus opening the dialogue necessary to understand human reasoning. In the moment of juxtaposition of contesting memories, we can learn about transcultural processes during meaning acquisition and exchange. We can learn from both stories that the elephant exists, but all we see is an image of what we believe in representing the elephant in its entirety. Even if we succeed in estimating individual body parts or outlines, the elephant's actual scale and shape remain inaccessible. Moreover, is there always just one elephant in the room? We don't know because we can't see.